Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Nashville Predators and why I think it's time to stick a fork in them, as in my opinion, their season is over. So before we get started with that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. Being said, let's get on into it. So Nashville has been probably the most surprising team in the NHL at time of recording this, and not in a good way, as they have been probably one of the most disappointing teams in the league. They had a 99-point season last year, tried to stay busy in the offseason and get better, hope for a playoff push. But they have not got off to a great start. As at time of recording this, they are 7-16-6 and sit dead last in the entire league. Shocking. And I think for anybody that would say, oh, I thought Nashville was going to be the worst team in the NHL, I want to see receipts for that. I want to see somebody prove it with a post, not just one post saying, haha, it'd be funny if Nashville was the worst team in the league. A legitimate post, kind of explaining X, Y, and Z as to why I think Nashville will be the worst team in the league by the end of the year. Then we'll give you your credit. But anyway, kind of circling back to all this, Nashville is just kind of a dumpster fire. They are on an 8-game skid. Time of recording this, they're probably looking like they'll snap that against the Dallas Stars as they're up 2-0 against them. But in this time, they've lost to 4 non-playoff teams in their 8-game spell where things have not gone their way. They're on pace for 57 points, and really, in order to make this kind of happen where they would get to 100 points on the year, would have to need to play at a 129-point pace, which may not even get you into the final wildcard spot. They're like 13, 14 points back of those teams that are above them, and those sides could very well finish above 100 points. So you're seeing Nashville in this race where they're pretty far back. They've got a little over halfway left to go. They keep stumbling, getting their own skates in front of them and tripping, and you wonder if there's actually going to be enough time to get it done, if they can even manage to stay out of their own way. And now we get to talk about some things that have gone wrong for them, whether that be on the ice or off the ice. And one of the things we can talk about here is their head coach, Andrew Brunette, basically saying that he could, healthy scratch just about everybody in the lineup. Roman Josi, a former Norris winning defenseman, a Norris finalist on multiple occasions, is day-to-day with an injury. And then you have multiple other guys that are big-name players that are having pretty underwhelming years. You look at the numbers, those don't paint a particularly pretty picture either. They sit 32nd in the league at all strengths for goals for per 60, below 2 by the way, basically meaning they are scoring practically no goals. They have the 5th highest goals against per 60 and a bottom 10 save percentage in that time. So really shocking, not scoring a lot of goals, allowing a lot of goals, having a poor performance maybe from your goalies, maybe that's not all attributed to them, but in general, so many things going in a bad way for a team that you really thought would be better. And I think that at times I just can't really wrap my head around how this team with Juuse Saros and the guys in front of him could be as bad as they are, because not only is this a really bad year, this year where they could possibly finish worse than the league, this would be the worst season in franchise history for them. Yes, technically in terms of points, it wouldn't be, but if we're looking at more games played compared to that other season, this would by far be the worst year in Nashville Predators history, which is crazy because they've been a pretty good team for a while now, and they're not as young as they used to be as a franchise. Maybe in the early 2010s we could have talked about that, but this is a team that's going on 25, 30 years. They have had time to establish themselves. It's weird seeing them be as bad as they are, but I will say, for this team, I do have some positive news, primarily for the fans. Some of it's joking, some of it's serious. So kicking it off with the first news, the season is about halfway over. So if you're a fan of this team and you're not particularly interested in watching other games with other teams and you focus more on your team, you can rejoice in the fact that you've only got like 4.5-ish months left to watch your team play. So that is good. You might have the ability to be, having a really high draft pick this year, which is also a good thing, which would be kind of surprising. Again, kind of going back to the fact that this is odd, but they could be a bottom 4 side. If they were the worst team in the league, by the end of the year, I would be shocked. And then on the flip side of that, I guess if you go towards more of the positives, I do think this team should rebound. There's no way they can play at this level and be this bad for this long. They are just not built to be one of the worst sides in the league over an 82-game season. And if they were, it would deserve a very, very special deep dive video just talking about how unimaginable this was. And then finally, if we're talking about kind of a fake glimmer of hope or just a very unlikely glimmer of hope, the last time they did a true video, I believe, about a team that I stuck a fork in was the 2023 Florida Panthers. And if you remember that team, they clawed their way barely into the playoffs and ended up going all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They didn't win it that year, but they did win it the year after. And maybe 2025 Nashville is that team where they don't look like they'll probably go out there and make the playoffs, but they just go on a tear, make it, ride their hot hand they've kind of got, and then make it to the Stanley Cup final for just the second time in franchise history. The situation is much more dire than 2023 Florida, but, never say never. So with all that being said, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Obviously, that's kind of the whole point of the video, saying their season is done. It's not actually done. They've got over 50 games left to play, but I don't see them being able to get to the playoffs. It would just take a Herculean effort, and this is a team that's probably going to be more focused on, winning now, yes, but also for the future. They probably will play better as the year goes on, so the fans will be kind of happy about that. And then also something you can really hone in on if you're a Nashville fan that's not too thrilled with how the year's gone. They've got 3 first-round picks, I believe, this year. They've actually got 5 picks, I think, in the first 2 rounds. So this could be a really important draft for Nashville that could help them not only in the now, but in the long-term future, as they could get some big talent. Maybe they are able to get 3 really good selections in the first round. Maybe they trade down to get a lot of assets in the future. Maybe they trade up and have, 2 really high selections that could help them in the very short term. I don't really know, but I do think that for this team, if they get some high-end talent that could help out right away, and these guys just have a bounce-back year and are able to get more confidence going into next season, they could really be one of the most improved teams in the league and feel like they could be a playoff team. Not saying that it'll be a lock. I do think that I've kind of been off the Nashville bandwagon until this offseason, where I got on the Nashville bandwagon probably for the first time since the channel had been made. And then, of course, after all that happens, they just, tank. And so we'll have to see how things kind of pan out here for the Predators. But if they end up getting a win against Dallas when this video goes out, you'll know that happened. And maybe they go on a 8-game win streak. And you're starting to say, life is good. And we'll have to see how that goes. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the Nashville Predators for this season? Do you personally feel like their season is already over? Or do you think with over half of the season left that they still have an opportunity, as slim as it may be? They do rank kind of middle of the pack for strength of schedule, so that could be a positive for them if they catch their groove playing a average strength of schedule. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.